I firmly believe that the more kids you have, just the sweeter it is.
Seeing you break away to have your time with the Lord, which is number one important. Otherwise, you're not sustained to come back and do what you're doing for myself and for the kids.
If we were both chasing our avenues, we would have been broke. You know, money's not everything. Money is like air into your lungs and it comes right back out. If your creativity is hinging on monetary value, then that creativeness is going to run out.
Wherever he's leading you, I'm on board. The excitement that I have to like stand behind you, to be your cheerleader. Our children wouldn't be who they are today without you.
And without pain, we wouldn't need God. And because we go through struggle and pain, the fact that we have God makes it worth it.
You are the ultimate counsel, and you wouldn't be that without your relationship with Christ. Hold on, one second. Let me try again. Welcome back to Unscriptd Podcast.
Jeez Louise.
We've got...
Not even getting paid to be here.
Technically, you are.
How?
Love, kindness, patience, and, platform, audience.
Mm.
Yeah. So, welcome back to Unscriptd Podcast. We have the lovely Sarah Abel.
Always throwing out my full government name.
I love it. Anyways, last episode, we titled Before We Were Four as kind of the precursor to this idea of us being a family of four for the first time, right? And you were pregnant at the time. And so this has kind of become like a theme for the episode to kind of give a background into, or I guess like a break from Michael and I, and kind of show what's happening in our like life and marriage and all the wonderful things that God's like blessing us with. Now that Avery's 3 months old.
Almost four.
Just jumped off of maternity leave, 3 months of maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
So you're back full force into the workforce, which, guys, shame me all you want. She's a corporate girly. There's nothing I can do. No, we're figuring it out. Okay. But I guess the whole point of this episode is and maybe the audience is eager for this too, like some of the wonderful women that watch our show when they see a bunch of dudes that are talking. And so now we get a chance to kind of give from your perspective and a lot of the things that women deal with on a regular basis, especially as it comes to balancing motherhood, being a corporate businesswoman, but then also like how do you mix that into like, creativity and that sort of thing. So my question for you, I guess to start us off, is where are you at like right now?
Wow, that's a really broad question. Yeah, so mentally I'm doing really well, actually. I'm doing really well considering all of the things, all of the stress and everything. But I'm figuring it out. I am in a full surrender mode where I am just praying every day, listening to what God's telling me to do. So I really don't know where I'm headed, but I'm headed somewhere, and that's exciting. So in my headspace, I'm just trying to stay on top of being a good mom, being a good coworker, being a good wife, trying to be sweet, all the things, trying to be a good friend, and trying to figure out and navigate how to deal with two little ones that are fully dependent on me.
Yeah, which is a lot. I tell you all the time, like, I know I have a difficult job. I know that my tenure can be very demanding, especially in the environment in which I operate. A lot of different companies can be, or positions can be, but like that's just like a specific, like God's like design, and I don't want to say the burden, but like the pressures that women have specifically that men will never understand. It could be vice versa, right? But like God's design for women and the pressures that you're able to sustain, like I would capsize already, if like the roles were reversed. We always talk about that. Like, what if the roles were reversed? Could you deal with it? As a guy, maybe not. Maybe, I'm just not wired. to sustain that way, and you make it look effortless. But like, I can also, now that I know you were going on 9 years worth of marriage, but I know deep down in there somewhere, like, you're probably like, pulling your hair out, maybe losing it, spiraling for sure. I think that's like a good word that occasionally, you might be able to find yourself in that space. And so super encouraged by how strong you are, for one, the types of things that you can endure, especially like in your relationship with Christ, and as he's like guiding you through some of these challenges and new like times of your life, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, what specifically do you feel like maybe in your relationship with Christ, or even some of the little things that you do on a daily basis, like how do you find yourself sustained to make it through each day?
It's just handling it moment by moment. I feel like if I'm spiraling, I'm not spiraling physically. I'm always going to spiral either emotionally or mentally.
Mm-hmm.
It's never a physical thing. Like, I can go without a whole lot of sleep and push through, and that's not really a big deal for me. But it's the mental load and the mental toll that I have a hard time with. So every day it's just compartmentalizing. It's like when you're working in an office and you work there 40 hours a week, 5 days, you break up your day by lunch. You're like, okay, I only have 4 hours until lunch. And then I take my lunch and I get an hour. And then when I come back from lunch, I only have 3 hours left in the day. And then I get to drive home, and then I get to start the rest of my day. It's kind of like that. So my day is broken up into when the next time frame is to move on to something different, So for me, it's like I get up, I start work, and then it's, at this time, Waylon's going to get up and he needs to eat. So then I take a little break or whatever, and I make him food. And then while he eats, I work. Hey guys, we hope that you're enjoying this episode of the Unscriptd Podcast with guest star me and my husband Will, as we talk about motherhood and going through life's decisions and just looking for Christ in everything. We hope that you will like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be involved in more conversations that we have in the future. And as always, we value your opinion, so please drop your comments below. Enjoy the rest of the episode continually. And then I know that for sure at 1 o'clock, he's going down for his quiet time. I'm going for lunch, and then I come back from work, and it's just the rest of my work day. And then when 4 hits, which is when I get off, then I'm full mom mode. So it's like dinner, if I have errands to run, if I need to finish out laundry, if I need to clean something, like, it's just compartmentalizing your whole day. And then that turns into compartmentalizing your whole week and what you need to do for your week, your month, and so on.
Yeah. What would you say is like, because that's a lot, what would you say is like the biggest difference this go around, now that what the pregnancy was like? We kind of talked about that a little bit comparatively to with Waylon, but what's the biggest difference now having 2 children? I mean, you have a million things going on top of that, but even just being a mother, like, what's the biggest difference now, do you think?
From when I became just a mom of one?
Comparatively, yeah. From being a mom of one of Waylon, because we know boys and girls can be different, but now you have both. You always wanted to be a boy mom. We kind of talked about that a little bit, before Avery got here, but like now that she's here, like how do you see like a big difference in, like, is it easier? Is it more difficult?
Oh, it's 100 times more difficult.
100 times.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have one kid, then you only have one timeline you're working with. You're only working with satisfying and meeting the needs of one individual. But now that you have 2 kids, now you're constantly divided and you're weighing different timelines. Like, Avery eats every 3 hours. Waylon does not eat every 3 hours. Avery can't eat by herself. Waylon can eat by himself. Like, it's like tracking with newborns. You track the wet diapers, the dirty diapers, everything else, and then tracking their baths and how often they're bathing, if they need to take a bath, if they need a nap, like who napped last, what time they napped, how long did they nap, different milestones. Avery's milestones are completely different to a 2.5-year-old's milestones. So
Mm.
it's very different, because when I was with Waylon and it was just the two of us and he was new, it was just, I was only working against one timeline. So I could structure my day around it easier. Like I knew if I was going to go do errands that I only had to get one little baby out of the car. Now I'm in a parking lot getting two babies in a car and out of the car.
Yeah.
And for me, that's more mentally taxing, because my head is constantly on a swivel, making sure no one's near the car, no one's looking at us, no one's not looking at us, but no one's watching us, no one's following us in a store, no one's doing any of that stuff, trying to make sure that my babies are safe, because the world is a dangerous place, and I'm not naive enough to think that, oh, that would never happen to me or anything like that. So it's totally different, but it's harder because I constantly feel split. I'm constantly split down the middle, because especially when both children need something at the same time, how do you make the decision of what's higher on the priority list to meet first?
Yes, that's true. All difficult things. And how do I word this? What would you say? And by the way, is it worth it having two?
Yes.
Because this is basically an interview on whether or not you want three. No, so 100 times more difficult for two.
Mm-hmm.
How much more worth it?
Like 1,000 times over. I mean, if we would have only had one, if we would have been blessed with just one, and we would have just had Waylon, and that would have been it, that would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But life gets sweeter the more you get into it, and life was so sweet with just us and Waylon, but now seeing Waylon thrive as being a big brother and having, in a sense, like a little friend that he gets to hang around and just be a part of, and we get to see him try to take care of her and everything, that makes it all the more sweet, because we're giving him an opportunity to be able to have someone else.
Yeah.
Have someone else that he can love and that he can also rely on, and that can rely on him back.
Yeah.
So it's not that it was less worth it when we just had one, but it's just I firmly believe that the more kids you have, just the sweeter it is. Just the thought of being able to just have movie nights and you're having more people there, or birthdays, and there's just there's 4 of us now. Now that we get to go into a restaurant and say, oh yeah, we want a table for 4. I think that's so sweet.
Mm.
So it was 100% worth it. I would do it all over again. Both of them. I would do them both all over again.
Both of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm pretty fulfilled by our children and our family as well. That's obviously, I've talked to a lot of people that I know, friends and colleagues and stuff like that. And, this is for me, 1,000% over, I get recharged here, at this home, by our relationship, by, walking through the door and Waylon come flying around the corner, Daddy, greeting me and that sort of thing, and just seeing Avery smile. And one, just for the simple fact that both of the children look like you, is just, I can't talk enough about that. But so difficult to be a mother too.
Yes.
So worth it. So worth it. So worth it. Obviously, I've watched you over the course of our marriage grow first and foremost in your relationship with Christ, which is just, I adore that. Adore seeing you break away to have your time with the Lord, which is number one important. Otherwise, you're not sustained to come back and do what you're doing for myself and for the kids, for our home,
mm-hmm.
as, the neck of our household,
Right.
The ultimate helper. You are the ultimate counsel, and you wouldn't be that without your relationship with Christ. And so
No.
I'm curious, I want to dive down this avenue because we're in a unique position. Obviously, yes, we are a family of 4 now. And there are some challenges and natural things that kind of come with that financially, time-wise, mentally, etc. But spiritually now, you're walking through a new chapter where I know you as, the kids know you as mom. I know you as the girl I met in 2016, right? And bang, fireworks, knew right away like you were going to be my wife and we were going to live this life. I had no idea like exactly what that was going to look like, but I knew you as this very spontaneous, just outgoing, fun-loving, very social, kind of just a magnet for like other women and just people in general. Like you're very magnetizing, right? And energetic, I think, or energizing for people to be around. But I also knew you as like this creative, right? I knew you as the one, the woman who went and got her bachelor's degree in photography, minors in art, which I had no idea you could do and paint that well until you started bringing some of that stuff home. And I'm just like mind blown. I still fight you hand and foot, right? To not throw that stuff away because I want it. But somewhere in the shift of that, you and I walked through some stuff in our marriage. Early days of marriage was a trying period. Somewhere in that transition or in the early periods, you set that down. You graduated, you went through the distance, but you set it down. I kind of feel like you never went back to it. In fact, it was kind of, not to put you on the outs, but it was kind of a touchy subject, because there was so much there. There was so much invested there. There was so much expectation, maybe not even just for yourself, but other people to you. And of course, you went through that whole period like every other photographer does, right? Where now that you're graduated and you're on the outskirts of that experience, now everybody wants wedding pictures and seasonal pictures, and you have to kind of go through that whole time period, and usually for free, right? Or like we'll give you $50 or like some sort of like Outback steakhouse like gift card, for going through this crazy experience with my children. Yeah. So, but to sum that all up,
Applebee's for dealing with my daughter.
I mean? But to summarize all that, you set that down. Can we talk just a little bit about, do you feel like that was a sacrifice that you made for our marriage because I'm overly ambitious? Or do you feel like that was just something that like quietly, ran down the river a little bit?
I feel like it was a combination. So going through college, and when you major in art, you go through, I mean, I'm not even going to lie. It's brutal. It's grueling. It's fun, but at the same time, you just get so used to being ripped apart creatively. Because everything has to have these connotations and these meanings and these layers. And that's true. Everything does have meanings and connotations and layers. But if you gave like an answer and it was just the truth and it wasn't interesting enough, then it was like, well, you need to scratch that project and start over and find something more interesting. It's like writing college papers. Are you really that passionate about, like little things floating in the ocean? Not trash, but like just little things like you're researching? No, probably not, but you're going through all these classes, you're writing all these papers, and a lot of it, to be honest, is BS. That's why a lot of people don't really write them. And you don't remember what you write. You're just trying to get through, being hungry and tired and stressed. And in some cases, like for me, I was working 36 hours a week and doing full-time college work, and you were traveling for work. So I was by myself a lot, and it was just, it's hard to be creative in that environment. So I feel like when I graduated college, it was just, I really just needed a break. I just needed to have time to figure out what it was that I was wanting to do, and I also knew that I needed to get an adult job that had insurance and all the things to be able to help, provide and help create a sustainable household. But I think now looking back at it, I think the main struggle that I had in college personally was that in every project, it was, what does this project mean to you? Where do you see yourself in this project? Where do you see yourself in this piece of art? And to be honest with you, I never could find myself in any art I did because it wasn't about me. It never was supposed to be about me. It was all supposed to be about Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was struggling so much with just everything that I wouldn't say that I was like really looking for Christ, but I also wasn't looking for myself either. It was more just like a wrapped up thing of like, well, I'm so tired and I'm just trying to get through college. I'm trying to like do all these things and I want so badly to be creative, but I don't feel like I can tap into it. And then, of course, you're going through a bunch of situations where they're comparing your work to someone else's work. And that's fine, but we all are different. We're all created differently and we all have unique callings on our life. So we can't really be compared, So that was really hard. But also I didn't feel at the time that it was my time to be creative. I felt like you are such a dreamer and you have such ambitious goals that, let's just face it, if we were both chasing our avenues, we would have been broke, we would have been broke. And I personally was so content and happy to take a step back from whatever and help you push yourself towards what you wanted to do and support you. That to me gave me such happiness knowing that you were trying out new things and you were excited about something that was important to you, that wasn't work and that wasn't tied to other people. It was just something that you wanted. And I was so stoked, and I still am so stoked to support you and to be your cheerleader and in your corner. And, with marriage and like everything else, there's different seasons. And I personally have loved every season we've walked through, but I have also deeply cherished the opportunity to be your cheerleader and to be the one in your corner that is your shoulder or whatever it is that you need. If you needed new equipment, if you needed someone to bounce ideas off of, if you just needed to rest, if you needed something else, like I was so happy and still am so happy to be that person. So I wouldn't say it was a sacrifice. I would say that it was an honor for sure, but I loved doing it. I really do. And I did. And I loved it at the time. So for me, putting myself on the back burner after just going through, all of college doing art, putting my art to the side and not chasing after anything like that and just being a corporate girly for a while and trying that out and being there for you, that was great. That was amazing for me.
Yeah, it's something, I'll be honest and transparent, maybe a little bit vulnerable about it. It's something I spent a lot of time, driving around the Metroplex, the Dallas Metroplex, and I'm quiet. I don't really listen to music. I make music, but I don't really listen to a whole bunch of it. But even awake at night, or, if maybe you go to bed and like I stay up for a little bit because I'm just not tired or whatever the case is. I spend a lot of time sitting there thinking about all of, I feel like, the sacrifices that you've made for our family, for me specifically, to be able to chase some of these things, the podcast and career where maybe I feel like, to be honest, like financially hasn't developed maybe the same way that some of our other, people that we know, has, like, over the course of like the last 5, maybe 6 years, like, has it developed to the point where, like it overflows it to the same extent of like what your salary like brings to our family, right, and to our needs. You know what I mean? Like we haven't reached that point yet, which do I think that's in the future? I absolutely do. But I lay awake and I think about that, and it still kind of breaks my heart, you know, that you kind of put so much on the back burner, and for whatever the exact reasons were that you did it, you know, I'm so appreciative that you've believed in me. And I feel like I sit there and I try not to get emotional about it, but you know, I kind of just want to, I'm kind of scared to ask, but at the same time, like I'm always like wondering, like, how'd I do, you know, for the sacrifices that you've made, for putting some of the things that you're just, by the way, I wouldn't be doing any of what I'm doing today had you not had your sense of creativity, and I was like front row to experiencing you do things that either you've never done before or that you were so passionate about, right? Like I would have never had the drive. Like I have a lot of ambition, but like I would have never had the drive to just like step out, be sociable, and really drive forward like a lot of the creative concepts I do without having spent that couple year period of time, you know, three years or so, like walking through you in college and some of the things you were bringing home, and like being inspired by things you were trying for the first time, and like being really good at it, and finding out that you are really good at it. And then you didn't know. Like I step out and find myself doing things, you know, whether in AI or whatever the case is, like that I would have never tried before. And then finding that same feeling that I had watching you explore creativity, right? And adventure through that experience. And so you've inspired me so much to be this way. And so like, I'm always asking myself, or like wondering in my mind, like if it was worth it. Like, did I make you proud in some of these endeavors that I've taken on to for the sake of just being creative, or the sake of, you know, trying something new, or the sake of, you know, creating an avenue outside of like your standard common 9-to-5 avenue and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I would say that 100%. I'm proud of you. 100%. There's not a part of me that isn't proud of you. And I've been proud of you since the beginning. I've been proud of you since, well, even like before we were dating, when we were young and we just knew each other. You were friends with my cousin and you got in good with my dad and everything. I was proud of you then. I was proud of you when you graduated high school. I was proud of you when you went to college. I was proud of you when I heard things about you out and about when you were working in the oil field. I was proud of you when I met you. You know, I would say that, you know, endeavors are not worth it just because you pull in money. You know, money is not everything. Money is like air. It goes into your lungs and it comes right back out. Goes in oxygen, comes out carbon dioxide, you know? That's what money is. It comes in, it goes out. It's just the way the world works. People put so much emphasis on creative processes, on if they're making money or not, you know? Like, I don't know your conversations, but I'm sure like one of the top questions you get asked when you say, oh yeah, I have a podcast is, oh, is it monetized? You have sponsors?
Can be, yeah.
You know? And that's not what life is about, guys. Like, God is the ultimate creator. He created everything. He created the heavens and the earth. Like we can read all about it in Genesis, you know? Genesis 1 started with him having a creative process and being creative. He wasn't doing it for money. He was doing it for love. He was doing it for us, you know? So creativity is not to be driven. Sure, money can motivate you. Money can drive you. It can inspire you. It can do all of those things. But if your creativity is hinging on monetary value, then that creativeness is going to run out.
Evaporate, yeah.
You're going to get burnout because all you're going to be doing is chasing where the next dollar can come from. You know, but if you're doing creativity out of passion and out of a love just for the process, a love for the result, a love for the peace that it brings you, the the quietness that you can get when you're doing it, then that is worth it. You know, if it de-stresses you and helps you meditate on God's word or what he's bringing you, or helps you just get your mind off of the hard things that we have to deal with just as people, then that's worth doing it, you know? Like, there's creative dancers. Not all dancers make money, but there's street dancers that go out there. They don't make any money, but they love doing it because they love dance. They love the release of just that creative flow and getting to interpret things so differently. So I would say 1,000, 100,000,000%, whatever the max is percent that you could be proud of somebody. I'm proud of you for everything you've done. And it's been worth it. Everything has been worth it. The hard times, the great times, times when we were at each other's throats, you know, the times that, you know, we cried together. Like, yes, he's a man. He does cry. Get you a man that cries.
I might cry right now.
Not all the time, just sometimes. Yeah. Don't get a man that cries over like rice or anything.
Over rice?
Yeah.
It's a little too burnt.
It's a little too sloppy, sticky rice. It's all been worth it. I'm 100,000%. I'm, like I said, like, I don't take being your number one fan on the podcast lightly. You know, I watch everything. I like everything, not from a spouse point of view, but just as someone who intakes content. I do that because I love you, but also because I'm proud of you. Like, I'm so proud of you. You've made leaps and bounds. Your career's not everything. Like, we're not rolling in it. You know what I mean? We don't have money just everywhere where we can just go, you know, buy a Maserati or something. Like, we have what we need. Like, God has sustained
on your
us.
list?
A Maserati?
Yeah.
No. To be honest with you, I don't even know what a Maserati looks like.
I was like,
A Maserati could drive past this right now, and I'd be like,
there's a car.
4 wheels. It's making a weird noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds fast. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm 100,000% proud of you.
I love that, and I love you. And I want to dive a little further down. Thank you for supporting our family and for supporting my dreams and
Well, thank you for supporting our family.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that sacrificed. You've made immense sacrifices to give us the opportunity to be able to have this life, for our kids to be able to have this life. You know? So I'm not the only one making sacrifices here. Like, also, Father's Day is tomorrow. So this is probably going to air after Father's Day, but I'm deep in my feelings because Father's Day is tomorrow. So I'm thinking about my dad. I'm thinking about you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this because, and it's a perfect segue into like this question and what I was preparing that about, like, your creative nature and putting it a little bit on the back burner. We've had several conversations about that, to like, if it was worth it, some of the things that the sacrifices were towards, including on my side. Like, trust me, like, I've had a million wake up aha moments where I'm like, yeah, I don't think I was going the right way, which is good. Hopefully, like, glad that we did, because even if it would have like paid a significant amount,
Mm-hmm.
I could have still been going the wrong way. So I'm just so thankful that like the Holy Spirit and conviction is real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like where our family is, you know, like that's what we're showing and being present and intentional about with Waylon. Is like, he could throw a tantrum, and not to spoil here, but he can throw a tantrum, or Avery. And like, we just like really want to, you know, like, we've got so much going on. We're at the busiest time of our life, not just like for this, but like in our careers and friendship, like all these different things that like God has just accelerated our lives
Mm-hmm.
significantly, that we could really like lose patience. And like, the fact that we're able to like feel that tug of the Holy Spirit to just step back and do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't spank, you know, like Waylon, that's a whole nother conversation, but like, it'd be so easy for us to do that. That's how we were kind of raised up, you know, for the most part. But the whole point I'm trying to get at is, because we're in this accelerated position, you would not interpret that as a good time for you to step back into your creative processes.
Right.
Like, by all accounts, this is a terrible time to start.
Yeah, the timing is bad.
Right. And, but I love that because it's beautiful, because God's like, this was my timing,
Yeah.
you know? And he goes, this is exactly like when it was supposed to happen. And so I kind of want to dive down that avenue a little bit, you know, from you letting it kind of float down the river for a while and then finding yourself like in this new space, and however much you want to share, feel free, and how much you don't want to share, great. But, you know, you find yourself in this new creative arena.
Yeah.
If you're fine with me saying it out loud, UGC content creation, which I just think has opened up a new like section of my heart and love for you, and watching you in that space and watching you try something again that's new. And the fact that that's being driven, and we're seeing that connected to like your Bible studies. And so you're having this one-on-one creative, like inspirational moment with like God, who's driving that force, and not like me going, we need to do something, you know, like this is like purely by design, something that God has put on your heart. Can you, even if you just walk down like what it's like right now to be creative, and to be a mother of two, and to be a corporate girly, and to be a wife, right? And to be approaching new age milestones, etc. Like how's that all kind of come to I guess this point right now? Like I don't even know what the right question for that is. Like, what's the driving factor, and how does this differ from your prior creative experience?
Well, I guess the driving factor is like, this is beyond me. This is not about me. So the UGC content creation environment, like I heard about it, I was super intrigued by it. I put it back to the side. I kept hearing about it. I kept putting it to the side, and it kept coming up. Because a couple girls I know, they're doing UGC and they're seeing success at it, but it wasn't the success that was like intriguing me. It was the fact that they were like all moms. They're all moms. They're all doing something creative. They all have this like outlet. And I was like, oh, that's super interesting. So God laid it on my heart when I was pregnant. And then I kind of dreamed about it. I allowed myself to dream about it, which I'm not a dreamer. So the fact that I let my mind go down that road of like what it could be, like the potential of what God could be calling me to, was crazy. And then, I gave birth, and the dream was still there, and I prayed about it. I prayed so hard about it. I prayed for all the things that you could possibly pray for. I prayed for God to take it. I prayed for God to help me not to think about it. I prayed for God to take it off my heart. I prayed for God to not let it, if I decided to go into it, that it would not be driven by myself, that it would not be driven by greed, that it would not be driven by a status symbol, that it would be driven by Him. And He just kept laying it on my heart and kept calling me to it. And so, I've started, and it's fun, and it's scary, and I'm overwhelmed, and yet motivated at the same time. And I say that with a question mark, because it's just it's so out of body for me. It's so out of body for me to put myself on the internet. It's so out of body for me to not like run through a skit, but like do a brief to like promote a product, to help try to recommend things, to reach out to people, to pitch myself, to sell myself, to, market myself out there. That's different for me. It's a hard thing to do, coming from someone who's been so in her own shell for so long. Someone that just is totally fine with just being at home and being quiet and leading this like totally quiet lifestyle. But God has called me to something, and I do not, with every fiber of my being, want to die and go to heaven and him stand there and go, I called you. You could have had more. You could have touched someone else's life. You could have done this, and you passed it up. You passed up the opportunity to praise me, to let me just partner with you and work through you. You passed it up. And I don't want that. I want to experience the fullness of what this life has. And I want to show my kids what it's like to say yes when you aren't ready and when you don't know and when you feel the imposter syndrome and when you feel like everyone else is more gifted than you are and you have absolutely nothing to offer.
Oh, wow.
And nothing for anyone to learn from you. I want to show my kids that you do have something to offer in every area of your life. And God, if he's calling you to something and he keeps laying it on your heart, it is not only like an honor, but it is so exciting to say yes and to go, I don't know where this is going. I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't have like a 10-year plan. I don't have a 6-month plan. I don't even know if this is going to do anything for anything other than change my heart and make me fully surrender. But I just know that I don't want my kids to grow up and go, well, my mom, she had like potential, but she always was just saying no. She was so scared to start and she never said yes. So that's what this is. That's where I am. So I am taking it one day at a time. I am praying my little booty off to get some confidence and some gumption and just put myself out there and let my personality go. The personality that I have, not the personality that someone else has, not that I'm watching other people content create for anything and me try to go with them. Like I'm trying to be myself and I'm trying to figure out my space and my ebb and flow. I don't want my only descriptor in life to be a mom. I think there's such honor in being a mom. I think there's such honor in being a wife. But God did not give me my personality and my creativeness and my drive and passion to want to do more, to settle for one role.
Yes.
When he's called me into multiple roles.
Which is a difficult conversation to have because before I go down that route, I'm so incredibly proud of you two. And it's not with the potential of like what can be made. It's for, hopefully you know this, hopefully you can attest to this. Like I am your number one fan. And I've just always been, even when you weren't ready for it, which God's timing is perfect, right? Even though it can feel like it's not perfect, like especially right now. But I've always been like, I just see you doing something so incredible for like the kingdom of God, I don't know what that's going to be. I know that it's usually wrapped around some of the most like ingrained skill sets that we have that like God has given us. Whether you're good at marketing, whether you're good at talking to people, whether you're good at connecting with people that you don't even share the same language with, like whether or not you're creative with your hands, maybe woodwork, I don't know. Like God, I just feel like I've seen people go through life with like the most ingrained peace and purpose when they're doing the thing specifically like God is instructing them to do, and like they don't really understand how, but they're like exceptionally good at it.
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't have to go out and do like some sort of crash course to become good at it. Like it's just something that's just innately, you're just,
Right.
you're good at it. And so like, I've always believed in you that you were going to be able to, because I've watched how, again, specifically women gravitate towards you. And that's not like a boastful thing. It's just a natural thing because you're the least boastful person out there. Probably the most humble person I know. You'd much prefer to be in the background, yet somehow we always shove you to the front, and you do exceptionally well there. Like you on my podcast again. I've drug you through plenty of plenty of situations with the podcast and like putting you out, in front of like the camera and asking you to do this with me. And so I am so proud of you. I'm so in love with every part of you, both like the seen and the unseen that I'm walking through. We've already gone through the 7-year itch that everyone calls it, right?
Yeah.
With marriage. I didn't experience it. I don't know about you, but like, did you experience it?
No.
You son of a gun.
The way that you put it out there. I don't know about you, but I was perfect and I didn't experience no itches.
No, but like, I didn't experience that because we're going into year number 9.
Yeah.
This is like, we're on basically almost year number 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like uncovering things about you that I never knew, and I love that. I love that I get to do that. And a lot of it obviously comes from like our children. They're like unlocking new parts of you and who you are on a daily basis. Same with me. And so I love that so much, but like, I'm so incredibly proud of the woman that you are and the spouse that you are and the partner that you are and the creative that you are. And I'm in a way kind of a little jealous because of like, I know I have my thing. I know that like God called me to this, but like I've went down an entire avenue of this without, I think, really drawing from that, maybe that calling. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and maybe that's by design. Maybe it was all meant to be for this moment right now. But I've definitely gone down the avenue of the podcast just for the sake of the podcast and just for the sake of the monetization. So to see you in the grips of this new environment, so connected, like in spirit with God, like we go on so many different walks and have so many different talks. And, if like, you're like, well, I might try this, I might try to pitch this brand, but I'm going to go home and like, I'm going to pray about it and see like where that movement needs to be versus, or how I need to move that needle based upon like what he's wanting you and pushing you to do. I've kind of always been a little polar opposite to that. I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a great idea. I'm going to go home and immediately do this.
Yeah, I'm not a full throttle person.
And I have that. I have 100%. I could do that so easily. But like, it's fun because, and it's wonderful because as I'm seeing you flourish again in your creative nature in a time when it doesn't feel like outwardly perspective wise, like it could be a great time to do it. It's like realigned me to like what I feel like my purpose is with the podcast, with, leading our family, with my career, like what I'm willing to do, but what I'm willing not to do is like to do any of these things without consulting the Lord anymore. And so you've had such a great and deep impact on my life from the moment that we got married to the point that we're at right now. I think much greater than you understand, because I know I'm the leader, but I could never lead. You could look at any business in the world, and the great leaders aren't great leaders solely by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon wasn't built just because of Jeff Bezos. Yeah, he might have had an idea and he kind of orchestrated that, but all the millions of people, or hundreds of thousands of people at least for sure, right, that have contributed towards that, or SpaceX, or they just went their IPO, and Elon's the first trillionaire. Elon's not a trillionaire by himself, like, right? Obviously his net worth is his net worth, but he would not be where he was without the great people and many people that like contributed towards him. And same for me. I would never have made it as far as I have in the last 9 years towards like the betterment of our family if you weren't there structuring that whole thing, catching me when I fell off. I'm climbing up all these mountains and you're like, I don't know if that's the right mountain, but you're like sitting there, like, when they have those trampolines and like the people are like falling.
Oh yeah. I always wanted to land on one of those.
Yeah.
In the cartoons, they look so.
Yeah, you always shoot up higher. You always bounce and shoot up higher than you.
That was a trampoline, I think.
Yeah.
In every cartoon.
So it's like you fell from 20 feet, but you end up going like 80 feet. Like it's kind of, either way.
Really
like,
shot people up there.
That's you. You've kind of always been beneath me to catch me and like give me a kiss on the cheek and like whisper in my ear like, hey, just like get back up, do it again. Give it another shot. Maybe don't do that, but like, you know what I mean?
Let's try something new.
Yeah, let's go a different route. Listen, you don't need 16 microphones, okay? I'm just going to paint this picture.
Sweetly, that was dumb. Well, let's not do that again.
So I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what you've been able to accomplish, even feeling maybe sometimes a little overwhelmed. And I'm really excited to see like how God is maneuvering you through this and like what that's going to look like. I have no idea. Shutting that part of my brain off. I'm living in the moment. I've kind of talked about that on the podcast before, like where I'm in today, with the Lord. Mm-hmm. And I am not doing that perfect. But the great thing is like I'm focusing on today in the environment that I'm in here. So it's like wherever he's leading you, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Wherever he's leading you, it's like touching me significantly. And like my heart is opening up more space for me to learn how to reverse these roles, and the excitement that I have to like stand behind you, to be your cheerleader. Our children who wouldn't be who they are today without you. You know what I mean? And that just first and foremost, without you doing anything else, like the fact that you've done so well with our children is incredible. 3 months is not enough time off of work and maternity leave. I don't care. You're not going to prove me wrong. It's not enough time, but I think that you were just so intentional and so present with the kids, and it shows. Like they're wonderful, beautiful kids, and you're a wonderful and beautiful wife and person. And so I'm curious because I think this is a really good question. You're listening to the Lord. He's reignited your passion for creativity. He did not plug you back into the wall where you were before. He's plugged you into something completely new. I don't know if you're looking this far in advance, if this would even be anything you were even like thinking about. Like if Avery, her daughter, were to get a hold of like the creative things that you're doing now, you just see your IG and like some of the things that you're like showing and developing and being creative in, what would you hope that she would take from that content?
I'd hope that she would go about things differently than I did. I would hope that she would look to Christ sooner. I'd also hope that she knows that she could do anything, absolutely anything that God has called her to do. And we're going to be there as a safety net, but we're also going to be there as a push. I think everybody needs that in the right direction. When you're first starting out, but also when burnout happens and things become heavy, you need a community to push you the right direction and tell you that what you're doing isn't crazy. This is not crazy. This is a calling and you need to chase it. Everyone needs cheerleaders. We're very fortunate to have those certain people in our lives, both individually and together, that we have as cheerleaders that we can go to, and they hear your heart and they know where you're coming from, and they don't look at you and go, that's dumb. They look at you and they go, yes, I'm praying for you, I'm rooting for you, and I support you 100%. And that's what I want her to experience. Because if I go down this road and God takes me wherever this road is and then it ends, He leads me to something else. And it's a learning curve, and it's not a monetary thing. I don't get, rich off of it or whatever, but it's a learning thing. Because of my accent. Whatever.
Well, shoot.
Darn. I really hope and pray that she looks at it and she goes, well, you went out there and tried new things. I can go try new things. I can start this. I can start this business. I can start this idea. I can sit down and paint. I can do some pottery, some ceramics, some photography. I could make a movie. I could do whatever. Like, I think that that's what's important. Being open with yourself and letting yourself try things that are different and that are foreign and that feel uncomfortable, and allowing yourself to be stretched. Because you never know. You never know what you're good at. Like, think about it. Like, Adele would never know if she could sing or not if she wouldn't open her mouth and try it. And people would like Picasso would never have painted if he never would have picked up a brush. You have to be uncomfortable in your environments in order to know if you are even good at it, if you even like it, if you even want to do it. And I will say that is the beauty about art school, is that when they put you through it, yes, your major is whatever, like mine was photography. I still had to take drawing classes. I still had to take painting classes. I still had to take ceramics. I was supposed to take a movie class. I did not. I wish I would have. That would have been fun. But I didn't, because I didn't have the time. But they put you in all these different environments because, for one, your creative brain has to go into different elements in order to fully create, right? But then also, like, now I know I really do love drawing. I love sitting down and drawing something. I love being able to paint. Like, I love that. I love having that physical aspect. Like, the photography was so great, but being able to, like, put a picture on a canvas was, I'm not going to lie, it was legit. It's like a secret power. It's like you sit down, you just look like you're casually drawing, and then bam, there it is, And I think that's awesome. So I hope that she like looks back on my life, for one, and sees God in everything. I hope that my life beams it. Like, it just showcases His handiwork in every area where you thought she was down, but she came back up because of Jesus, That's what I want. But I also want her to know that, like, what Christ has done for other people, Christ can do for her, And I want the same thing for Waylon. Like, whatever he wants to do, I want that. I want them to be able to look at our lives and be like, you tried different things. It was uncomfortable. This failed. This did really well. We want to do this too. All because we are grounded in what truly matters, which is not public opinion, which is not how much money I'm bringing in a month, which is not living in a big old house, which is not driving whatever a Maserati looks like. None of that stuff. It's purely based upon what Christ is telling me to do, the affirmations that I'm getting from Christ, and the impact that I'm making on people around me.
So to shift that question, and that was a wonderful perspective, and I 100% support you that way. But to shift that question just a little bit, because you said it earlier, I looked at UGC and I just realized it was like, or you noticed it was like a lot of moms.
Yeah.
So what do you hope, if you have a hope there? Like, what do you hope other women take from, like, your way of doing that content.
Oh, shoot, that they can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it. I don't have the capacity. My plate's full.
And not to cut you off, but like, because like I would imagine like the attraction there is like a lot of people are hurting.
Yeah.
Inflation's crazy. Gas prices, have, they're at the all-time low right now for the last 3 months. But like things are just expensive. It's just expensive.
Yeah.
It's just expensive. Everything you can possibly think of is expensive.
Yes.
Young couples, there's less of them. There's less children being had because it just feels like, man, why would you have a kid in a time like today? But if the idea is that like women who are watching their men and maybe experiencing a different side of the man that they married or that they started this relationship with, and he's having a hard time, because it's a hard time, men, like right now, especially if you're not able to provide 100% for your entire family without your wife working, like that's demoralizing.
Yeah.
Right. By the standards of like men and like how the world looks at it. So that's easy to look at when we talk about that all the time, like what men must be going through. But the shift is like, what are mothers? What are wives? What are just women in general? Like, what are they going through? Even seeing their fathers. Maybe it's a young girl in a household watching her father struggle to provide and like feeling like she needs to step up to like contribute towards the family, etc. Like that obviously is probably a majority of like the attraction for a lot of women right now to go towards something that can be extremely lucrative. And
which who could blame them? Who does not want to make extra money? Sure. That's the thing. Who does not want to be able to go into a grocery store and buy whatever the heck and bob you want to buy without having to use a coupon and walk right out of there?
I do love a good coupon though.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like swipe your card, know it's going to just go through and then walk right out of there and feel great about it.
You're not checking your account every 30 seconds,
Yeah. Who doesn't want to go through that? Who does not want to know that you could go, if something happens to your car, you can go fix it? Like, oh, that's gone, replace it, whatever. Who doesn't want that security? But the thing is, what I think is a bigger issue is not the monetary situation, but the fact that a lot of moms out there are tying themselves down to just being moms. They're letting that shape their entire identity, and they're squashing their personalities and their interest in what they're creative in, because they feel like they constantly have to fall on the sword constantly for their family. If I don't do it, who's going to do it? Type thing. And I understand that, because, 9 times out of 10, if I don't wash the baby bottle, it might not get washed when I need it washed.
Sure.
If I'm not keeping up with what size they are in diapers and what they are allergic to, or when their appointments are, who's going to do it? That's part of the responsibility of being a parent, yes, but that doesn't mean that that's your whole identity. God did not knit you together in your mother's womb with your dreams and your desires and what your calling is, for you to go out there and just squash everything that he's trying to bring to your plate to showcase himself through, but to let you experience fulfillment in him because the thing is that, yes, a lot of, if you have a child, you are called to be a mom. 100%. If you have a child, you are called to be a mom. If you don't have a child, you're also called to be a mom. As women, we are all called to mother something and someone, no matter what that is. Because the thing is that women, when they're together and when they're united, like, there is something so beautiful that happens. That's why sororities are so appealing, and like squads are so appealing. I mean, I know of at least 7 to 8 people that have big friend groups that are women, and it's always like, how did you become such a big part of a group that are women and they all get along? How does that happen? And it's just, we are meant to have community, and we are meant to love on each other. And in one way or another, it's all equaled out to mothering. You mother your friend when she has a broken heart and a guy does her wrong. You mother your friend's kids because now you're their auntie. You know, you mother your husband in a sense because now you're the main woman he's relying on. And as a woman, you're a nurturer and a caregiver, and you have that tender side of you that wants to do those things. And if you don't, and if you're called to do other things and not be so nurturing and not be so tender and giving, or if you don't think that you're called to those things, then you're still mothering. It's just we all parent and mother in different ways. But as a woman, like, I just realized that, one day my kids, they're going to get old. They're going to get old and they're going to leave me. They're going to leave me and they're going to go have friends. They're going to leave me and they're going to go to college. They're going to leave me and they're going to get married. They're going to have their own kids. And if I wrap my whole identity into being their mom instead of having my identity and as an adjacent piece to that, being a mom, then I'm going to lose myself when they leave, or I'm going to lose myself when they get married, or I'm going to lose myself when they start going with their friends, and I'm not going to know what to do with myself. And I don't want that to happen. It's the same thing with you. I love being your wife, but if I don't let my status and everything of being a wife be adjacent to my personality, then my personality is going to become you. And then that's not going to help our relationship thrive. That's going to, curdle our relationship.
Yeah, because then I couldn't break away to go catch up with Michael. Because what the heck,
Yeah, it's like, where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? How long are you going to be gone? When are you coming back? Yeah, you don't like me anymore? Do you not love me anymore? Would you not love me if I was a worm?
You'd be a pretty cute worm.
Thank you. So yeah, I feel like women, just in general, it is not only like our job, but I think that it's one of our purposes to champion on other women and let women know that it's okay to be a mom and have interest. Just like it's okay to be a mom and have a career. It's okay to be a mom and climb a corporate ladder. It's okay to be a mom and not climb a corporate ladder. It's okay to be a mom and want to stay at home and take care of your children and homeschool. It's okay to do all those things. It is absolutely 100% okay. This is like the argument, not to get off on a tangent, but this is like the argument of like, do you breastfeed? I can't believe you breastfeed. Or do you feed with formula? I can't believe that you're feeding with formula. Breast milk is so much better. When in reality, a fed baby is what's best. A baby that's growing and is healthy is what's best. That's what's best. Everyone has their own things that they want to put up with. If you want to put up with constantly having to breastfeed and that be like another job on your plate and keep up with that, great. If you just can't do it and your body just won't produce and it's just more mentally taxing than it needs to be for you, and it's overwhelming and you're getting defeated and it's taking a toll on your mental health, don't do it, girl. Invest in that good formula, get that formula sent to your door, feed your baby, and have some peace of mind.
And if you do, and you have to go to formula, you are still enough.
Yeah, 100%.
You're not less than, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, as a woman, that's what I want in a friend. I want a friend that's going to pray for me, love me, support me, not shame me, and champion me on. So you want that type of friend, you have to be that type of friend. And that's the type of friend that I want to be, that I strive for. I'm not perfect at it. I wouldn't even say I'm great at it. I would say that it's a work in progress for me. But every day, I pray that God makes me a better friend to other women, but also a great friend to other moms. Because it's so hard being a mom. It really is. It's such a difficult thing. And no one's story is the same. So that's what I want other moms to get out of it, is like, if you want to do it, if you feel the call to do it, if you've prayed about it and God says, yeah, get it. Get it in the way that you can get it. whether it's full throttle or easing into it or whatever the case is, like, do it, girl. Change the trajectory of your life.
Something I heard recently, I think we both heard it. I think it was on one of the Bible shows, but it hit me really hard. And it was probably not anything that was in the Bible, but it was like kind of dramatized or whatever the case is. But it's made a significant impact in my life because I think I needed to hear that. And it was like, you know, when you're watching something or having a conversation, like that one key word that like bing, and you just can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it makes you zone out or whatever the case is, but it was said, if we lose the battle today, Lord, you're still my reward. God, you're still my reward. If I go out and I try UGC or I try this or I try the podcast and it flops, or I go, hey, I'm tired of my company and I want to go to a different company and I want to make more money, and then I try that out, and then my other company that I'm currently at drops me, and then that company doesn't want me anymore, and now here I am, God, like, you are still my reward. Right? So that hit me so hard because how difficult it feels to do life right now. We allow that to dictate whether or not we're going to like trust God.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to be, it's kind of asinine, but like a leap of faith nowadays with how difficult it is needs to be something you can see how far the steps go.
Yeah.
Which then it's not a leap of faith. No,
it's like taking a leap, but exactly wanting to see where you land. And that's not part of it.
Like, well, cover your eyes. Right. You know, you peek through it. It's like, you're not supposed to look. Like, the leap of faith is you stepping out in faith, which God rewards.
Yeah.
When you're like truly in relationship and seeking his provision for everything. Everything. Like, I know I talked about that with I think with you, and like there's certain aspects where it's like, okay, I'm surrendering here, and then I, you know, turn right back around and it's like, I'm trying to think of something like small and minute, but like shifting my diet. Well, I've worked out long enough. Like, I feel like I know what I could do. Like, I haven't tried this diet or the Mediterranean diet or whatever like, without going to him for that. Like, and my brain is so simple that I can manage that. God, like, don't worry about it. I'm not going to bring that to you. I'm not going to lay that at your feet. 100% I need to lay it at his feet. Doesn't matter like what it is. Like, whether or not I'm going to step out today and like go to work, like that needs to be laid at his feet. I'm like learning that for the first time, going on 35 years of age, like having given my life at 4 years old. Like, I'm now figuring that out, like, for the first time. Like, those are like the moments he actually is like desiring from me. And some of those, even minutely, like the minute things that like I offer, like I bring back and like surrender and like lay at his feet and ask for him to like show me how to make some of the simplest decisions in my mind, I'm rewarded the biggest for.
Right.
And blows it like doesn't make any sense to me personally. So that is very impactful, kind of the thought around a woman and her identity as a mother not being wrapped up in her children, which is such an easy thing to do because children are so wonderful.
Oh yeah, they're so fun.
And I remember when we were having Waylon and people were like, well, I think they're even telling you, they're like, kids will come by because as soon as he sees his son, like, is it.
What do you mean you think they were telling me that? I cried during the dishes and called you after that conversation.
Yeah.
With someone, and they told me that.
Which
that was so sad.
Which I didn't do it. I did not do those things because someone said I was going to do them, and it's like, well, I'm going to do it completely different. Like, I already knew, like, in my heart, in my being, that like, you're my person, like, number one, 100%. So like when Waylon was born, is the baby okay? Great. I need to see like my person. It's not because, I can make a million Waylons. I can't. Waylon's the only Waylon.
Yeah.
Which is important, but at the same time, like, we don't get to Waylon without you. I see Waylon and I see you, which means, and this is a beautiful part about it, is when I see you, the goal And what you're doing really well at is, I see God's like love. I see God's purpose for you. I see his grace over you. I see his provision over you. I see his anointing on you. Like, I see you walking imperfectly, but like hurriedly running back and throwing yourself on the floor before him for like as many things as you possibly can, better and better and better and better and better every single day, every single week, every single year. And that's not that you're going to eventually become perfect in that relationship with him, but like that's the pyramid that I see. I see you, I see God, I see Christ. Like, and then when I see Waylon, I see you and like your efforts and like your beauty in him and some of your personality in him, and of course your looks in him. Like, so it's like, that's what, like when we think about like lineage too, like that's what I kind of hope pours down is like, you see that the pyramid of like God, and then it's you, me, and God, right? And then it's like you, me, and our kids, and then it's them. It kind of trickles down, right? So
Right.
I love that concept and that image that you painted about like not getting so wrapped up in your children that you lose that connectivity and that synergy that like God has ingrained. And sometimes it is like all the way through from start to finish, like at home as a mother.
Yeah. Sometimes it is.
And sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's no children at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing for someone to want children so bad and to just not have it. That's a hard thing. I have some really good friends right now, and you know, they're walking through that, and that's a hard thing, but God has such a calling on them, you know? And it's not up to us, and we don't know why and all that, but you just can't help but feel for those people. And you also just, for me, I can't help but feel for those girls, because like I just can't imagine that. That's hard. But just because it's hard and I can't imagine it doesn't mean that I can't be there for them, you know? Because that's the thing, is just because you've never experienced something doesn't mean that you can't pray that God will work through you to help form a connection and to help strengthen your relationship with them. It's just all a process.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's just constant surrender though. Because is it easier to just tap out? Yeah, it absolutely is. It's easier to just tap out when someone's going through something hard. But at the same time, it's like having kids. The reward for having kids is getting to the other side of something hard and you being stronger because of it. You know, like labor sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks. Like there's just no two bits around it. People that go through it and they're like, I barely felt a thing. They lie. They lie. Oh my gosh, they lie. And if they did barely feel a thing, good for them. You know, fantastic.
How many epidurals? You know what I mean? Like,
shoot,
man. Let me see your spine.
Let me have an out of body experience. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
But once the rush of adrenaline and the endorphins and everything, once that baby is out, that baby is like breathing and on your chest, and everyone's leaving the room and they're like, bye, have a great, you know, we're going to give you some time, your golden hour, whatever. It really is a golden hour, because I mean, it's just like instant, just beauty and just, oh, I can breathe. It's over type thing. So without struggle and without pain, like we wouldn't need God, you know? And because we go through struggle and pain, the fact that we have God makes it worth it, you know? Like in the Bible, it talks about how the angels will never know what it's like to be us because they can't worship God through suffering. And we get the enormous privilege of worshiping God through suffering, which does not sound like a privilege, but that's because it's an upside down kingdom that we're going to, where we experience it here, but we don't experience it there. But because we experienced it here, we know his goodness. We taste it. We see that God is good, you know? And then it makes us want to do it again because we see the reward. Just like having kids, or just like going through painful breakups, you know, where you're like, oh my gosh, that person was my world. And then you break up and you're like, I'll never move on. I'll think about them every single day. And then like you're 2 years down the road, you're with who God designed you to be with. And you're like, who? Oh, I didn't even think of him, you know, or whatever the case is.
I can't wait to clip that moment there. Yeah. What if that was the whole podcast? Just
we had tentacles.
If you want to know our personality, that's what you'd get if, like, you know, it was our way. No, you're so right.
As if you don't direct this podcast.
Like,
if it was our way, but unfortunately we're on a totally...
Our manager in the distance over here is...
different trajectory.
The manager's freaking Avery just...
TikTok.
Yeah. No, that's so interesting you said it that way too. Just the way that we get to experience that because of like that relationship with him because of suffering, because that's like such a deep conversation, obviously for a different podcast, but like such a deep conversation. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Sorry. That's the tick in me that like can't remember any other lyrics except for like
the most irrelevant lyrics.
But it's so true because like in a lot of ways, there it is.
I can't get past it.
In a lot of ways, you know, that's also a driving factor, you know, for a lot of people, and maybe even an excuse for their lack thereof of a relationship with God anymore because of the suffering aspect of it. So like once you trying to have a serious moment here. Lock in. I'm
gonna drink water.
No, but seriously though, that was a really great perspective on the suffering aspect of it, and really honestly, there is so much beauty there to end the suffering, like making it to the other side of that, and seeing how much stronger you are, not because of like yourself alone, but because of like the way that he carried you forward. I was thinking about it because, and it's crazy, and this is I think a great like segment to kind of close on, but the other
are
day,
we closing?
Yes. Shop is closed. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I was just getting into this.
Yeah. I was playing with Waylon, and we have these little tiles, you know, that we bought him, and like I set him up, and they were pretty close to each other. They were like pretty close. He couldn't step across. He probably could if he trusted himself. So I went and I like held his hands, right? And Waylon's like us, like, and for the sake of this scenario, I would be God, right? And I held his hands, and he like took the biggest step, and he made it across, and then I helped him to jump off of that second tile. So then he like was all excited about it, clapping and everything like that. So then he runs back to the first tile, steps back onto it, and like reaches his hand out. So like I grab his hand again. At this time he jumps, and like I give him just enough of like a boost that he makes it from one tile to the next tile. And I'm like, oh wow, like he can do this. And then like he jumps off of it. I help him with that again. He claps his hand, runs back to that first tile again. Mm-hmm. While he's running back, my brain went, he can handle more. He trusts me. He trusts me. He's leaning into that trust of me. Like I'm helping him to make that gap where he's jumping across that tile. And so while he wasn't watching, I moved the tiles back. So I just like kept moving them further and further and further back. And the beauty, like it made me think about like Peter and like walking on the water and like, you know, keep your eyes on Jesus. Like he would have made it to Jesus. That embrace would have been wonderful. And yes, I know he embraced him anyway. It's like, because Christ is going to come, he's going to rescue us from the depths of like the choices we make by turning our hearts and our minds away, or in our spirits away from him, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that commitment. And he's going to come and he's going to rescue us out. But like Waylon wasn't, and that's where I was like seeing this faith in like adolescence. Was like he was watching me. He wasn't watching the tiles. And so he wanted to grab, he was reaching for my hand and grabbing for it. So then I'd grab his hands and he'd jump as hard as he could. And I'd give him just a little extra and he'd make it to that tile no matter the distance that I had moved them apart.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I found myself yearning for that scenario where I'm Waylon and God is like helping me to jump across these tiles. You know? Like God is like, you can, this is like a really difficult time, but like you can, like don't look down there. Look up here. Like,
yeah,
like reach for me. Like every day, every moment, like reach for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go hand in hand. It's like, oh, what are we gonna do? And I'm just gonna jump. And like he carries you across. And it's terrifying. It's kind of terrifying, but like that, I guess like that is like in your content creation and the UGC and like my career and where it's going 14 years in. I have no idea like what it's going to look like tomorrow, the next 6 months, the next 365 days. But like, I just know that like as a family, like,
yeah,
as a community here in this household, like my goal is to just like tilt my head up and like you do that for me. Like keep driving towards God, like keep looking towards God.
Yeah.
In the moments when you see me fall. And I want to do that for you too. Like, so when you're having a hard day with the UGC or with your corporate job, 9 to 5, like friendships or relationships or whatever the case is, like, I just want to be that for you. Like, hey, like keep your head up and keep looking at God, because the tiles and the distance of the tiles and a scenario that you're like, there's no way that this could like come to fruition. There's no way that like he could reverse this situation. There's no way that person will ever like me again or speak to me again or want to have a relationship with me again. Or there's no way that like my job is going to give me that promotion that I asked for. It's way too much money. I know they never give above 5%. Like there's no way. All those different times when you think there's no way.
Yeah, there's a way.
There's always a way, and that way is God.
Yeah, because he makes a way.
100%.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, but there's a quote that I have written down on my bulletin board in my office, and I'm going to butcher the quote, just a preface. But it talks about how the Holy Spirit is in your insecurity, and how when you're insecure, how the Holy Spirit can carry you to the ultimate security, which is Christ. And how you surrendering in your insecurity and doing it anyway and being afraid at it parallels faith, and how it goes together, you know? Because no one's going to, did I say parallel right? You're looking at me questioning.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing how you're fabricating this together.
Okay.
Parallels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You got me insecure. But when your insecurity is going the direction that your faith is going, and it goes to the Creator, how it can make something happen that would never have been possible if you were not insecure to begin with. You know, because we were not designed to be secure, because we are not perfect. We don't know everything. We cannot do everything. We're not all powerful. So naturally, we are going to be afraid. We are going to be insecure. We are going to be those things. But if we allow the Holy Spirit to come into those areas, how it will drive and stir up our faith to run to Christ. And then when it's answered, it only whips our faith more, and our faith becomes bigger because of the initial insecurity.
It makes me think about when like Christ sent out the disciples 2 by 2.
Yeah.
He sent them out to do his work.
Mm-hmm.
He sent them out already equipped with the power to do his work.
Mm-hmm.
Because had he sent them out, because he just knows us, right?
Right.
Had he sent them out 2 by 2 and they would have had to go out there and earn it.
Yeah.
And been in those moments and when they would have had like the slightest bit of like doubt, nothing would have been done.
Right.
Because we're all humans and they were no different. Like, other than that, they were chosen by Christ. But like, I find that beautiful. It's not that like, wow, well, they kind of suck because they would have failed had he not equipped that, right? Equipped them with that. But like, that's the beauty of his love for us, is that he knows when you need that. We've had several, instances where like he's shown himself up, and I've experienced that in the past solo. And now the fact that I'm experiencing these with you, and we can go in our marriage now.
Yeah.
We can go, remember that one time with the hot water? Remember the one time with the $5 bill? Remember that one time with these visions and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Like that's so impactful. That's like, money can't buy that.
Right.
Those experiences that only you and I share for our scenario with in tandem with God. Like, and so I think that there's such a beautiful picture of like his love and his mercy and his grace over us, is that, hey, like these things I'm going to send you over here fully equipped already, because I know wholeheartedly, like, we are not already equipped on our own.
Yeah.
Which is why he came here and he sacrificed himself and
right.
made the ultimate sacrifice of resurrection.
What is that saying where it's like, when you come to the end of yourself, you find the beginning of God?
Yeah, I love that saying.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're always at the end of ourselves.
Yeah, we just don't pick our heads up and recognize it.
Right. Or it's like, well, we got to put our head down and work harder. But really, honestly, you would just come to the end of yourself sooner and just admit that you can't do it anymore. You need to give it up, and you lay it down at his feet. Like, hello.
I think that's the moment you pick up your cross.
Yeah, there he is, just waiting for you. I have this picture on my phone, and it's of this little cartoon Jesus, and it's so cute. It's meant to be cute, but really, if you imagine it, it's kind of sad. But it's of cartoon Jesus, and he is wearing a bow tie, and it's a table set for two, and he's holding out his chair for me. And when you think about that, like, he is always waiting for you. He is always waiting for you to just say his name. And he's right there. Like, there's an elevation worship song where it's like, when I call your name, you come running. Does he actually come running? No, because he's right there next to you. There's nowhere to run to. He's right there. But the thought of him coming running is so sweet, because yes, he would come running if he wasn't near us, but he's always near us. And he's always holding out that chair for us to come and sit down at the table with him and invite him into these small, minute moments that we think are nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a beautiful thing too.
It is. So
sending the disciples out 2 by 2 and everything is just so intentional. And when you start really looking at life, the trajectory of your life, where it's going, your day to day, because all you have is today. When you start looking at today very purposefully and like, what is he teaching me through this? What if, like, I go out the door and I run into someone that he wants me to run into? And what if he wants me to say hello to that person, and I say hello to that person, and it sparks up a conversation, and me and that person become friends, and then me and that person go on to do great things together? Like, it's all just intertwined.
Well, when we talked about, Michael and I here recently, we talked about like assignment, baptizing your desires as in your own will, and pretending that they're God's, calling them holy and that sort of thing. But like, we talked about how it's so important to live your own story that he's writing for you. And as you talked about like him holding the chair out, and it made you emotional. And it is an emotional thing to think of like God, the creator of the universe, like standing on the outside of your door, beating on your door relentlessly. Like, hey.
Yeah.
And you're like, no. You're sitting there, you plug in your earpods and like pretend he's not there for a little while, and then things don't go your way. And then you're like, You come running and you open the door and he's not like looking at you scowling.
No, he's like excited.
I can do it. You know what I mean? But like same with the story aspect is like, you can't live someone else's story, and the creator of the entire universe is reading your story, knows your story.
Writing it.
He's writing it. You're walking it. But he's like interested in your story. And that's not if like you go out and heal a million people, go out and feed everyone hungry in Africa, and all of your good works that you do and all the camera thing that you drive down the road and like you hand off all this money, like all that kind of extra stuff. Like it's not even like about any of that. Like he is interested in your story.
Yep.
To the capacity in which you're the only person that can live out that story that he's written for you. And I find just so much, I feel like I find so much peace in that. As the type of person who's like, I'm 35 or about to be, like, how come I'm not a multi-billionaire? Like that would have like.
That'd have been crazy.
Right? Like that would have like solidified anything. Maybe it would have if like that's like the design. I don't know. Like if that's the design, great. But if that's not my assignment that he's got me, if that's not a part of the writing and like which he has for like my story, he's not reading that. So this has been a wonderful conversation.
Oh yeah, it's been deep.
I love you, honey.
I love you.
Thank you for always coming on and being a part of the show and these little segments, and hopefully we have more of these and get more of your takes. And I'm excited to see what you do in UGC, and maybe we'll get a chance to update the audience on how everything is going there. And obviously God first. And
yep.
You mind if I pray us out?
Go ahead.
Awesome. Lord, thank you for your son, Jesus. Thank you for sending him, God, to sacrifice himself as a sacrifice that none of us could have upheld ourselves, God, for his dominion, God, over this world and over the universe, for his mercy and leaving behind the Holy Spirit, God, to just guide us, to walk with us hand in hand every single day, God, in his stead. We thank you for his resurrection, for the proof that he is exactly who he said he was, God. We thank you for this opportunity to sit in front of this camera, and we don't know what this episode is going to do for anyone else, but we know what it's done for us, God. And as you work in our marriage, and as you work in both of us as parents, new parents for the most part, God, we just pray that you would be lifted, God, that your praise would be lifted and your glory would be lifted to you, Lord. And we just hunger for your presence in this household. We hunger for your presence in every social interaction, God. We hunger for your leadership, your guidance, your wisdom, your discernment over every situation, circumstance, and opportunity that we face on a day-to-day basis, God. And just more importantly, we're just so hungry to be in the moment with you every moment. As we know, tomorrow's not promised and really doesn't exist, God. We just want to be present today. And so we pray that your word would go forth, God, in this episode, God, that it won't be received any other way than the way that you intended it, God. And we love you, and we cherish you so much, and we value you so much. In your son's mighty name, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Awesome. Till next time, keep your
teeth white.